You're listening to The Blunt Truth. Unscripted, uncensored, unwoke. Get ready to challenge everything.
Welcome to episode 18 of the Blunt Truth Podcast. Unfortunately, the amazing episode about youth violence that we just recorded glitched out, and I could not recover the files well enough to get that out for you. Also, I'd like to apologize because last episode I made a bunch of silly faces because I was trying to make it so that the thumbnails for our social media clips would have good faces in them. So I was like smiling and acting surprised while Dougie was talking in episode 17, and going back and watching the clips after some commenters pointed out that my face looked funny revealed to me how ridiculous I, in fact, was being. So, number one, do not go back and watch the video version of episode 17. Number two, I won't do that again ever. Moving into this episode, which is something I love to talk about because we as human beings are genetically modified Bigfoots or GMO Sasquatches. Bear with me because I'm going to present some very compelling arguments. And if you're listening right now like this is fucking nonsense, this guy's off his rocker, that's what everyone thinks. Let me make a couple arguments. You might change your mind. One thing I'll point out, pink farm pigs, domesticated, hairless, small, scared little pink farm pigs have been known to escape the farm. It is documented by science. There are case studies where they track one individual pig that had escaped, and so on and so forth. It's a process called feralization, whereupon this little pink hairless pig who escapes the farm grows significantly larger, grows tusks, gets darker skin, develops hair all over his body, begins foraging, scavenging, and in fact hunting for live prey as a wild warthog. Because as we know, the pink farm pig is nothing more than a domesticated wild hog or boar, whatever you might say. A very similar example as dogs. All the different species of dogs, pugs, German shepherds, Rottweilers, you name it, are essentially wolves, right? You go back far enough, they were all just wolves. In fact, it's the same species, and any dog can produce fertile offspring with a wolf. Even a pug, hypothetically, God forbid, how that might happen. Point being, we've been able as a intelligent species to create all these different breeds of dogs that look different, act different, physical traits, personality traits, phenotypes, genotypes. They're essentially just the wolf genome stretched out. Human beings are genetically modified Sasquatches, and you might know about there being 12 original tribes of people, or maybe even 13 tribes. And I believe the origin of each of these different ethnicities and races of human beings is that whoever our controllers are, whether it's the Galactic Federation of Light, whether it's reptilian, whether it's Anunnaki, whether it's just sick human beings, doesn't matter. Some group before human beings existed must have, I believe, genetically modified the existing hominids on this planet Earth, of which every culture has them. Sometimes they are called Yeti, abominable snowmen, skunk apes, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Indonesia has a term for them. Basically, people like you or me that could be taller and stronger, that walk on 2 feet, and they are known all over the world. Those are the original us. The origin, my hypothesis, is that the different races and ethnicities of people correspond to different factions or families or groups of whoever made us. And us being human beings as a genome of Sasquatch, as a phenotype of Sasquatches. And they did so by allocating the land on the planet, the known 7 continents, divided up in like, you get this, you get this, you get this, right? So however many different races there are, divided up into 12, 13 areas. And they then took the native Bigfoots in each area and genetically modified them. Used all kinds of technology, and each race of people, each ethnicity, originally was made using a variety of different technology, not all the same. Many of the human races were made from Bigfoots by splicing those Bigfoots with pig DNA. There it is again. Why? Because as we just learned, pig DNA is so domesticatable. It has a tendency to just go back and forth between feral and domestic. You can control the size of the enclosure, control the diet, just like they feed us processed grains, and control our standard doorway sizes. And you can keep a pink little pig that way. An adolescent wild hog, essentially. Developmentally arrested. And why do pedophiles run the world? To maintain arrested development. That's the cart before the horse. Point being, if one pig can rewild its DNA, and I'll tell you, I have a light on my face, so I look pretty pale, but I used to be even more pale. I used to be very pasty. I used to not have a beard into my 30s. I used to be smaller, shorter. I'm also still developing body hair. Like, I just checked, and I have like hair going from the front of my thighs, and a continuous patch of hair up to my backside. So I was like, whoa. That because I have a real dream of rewilding, feralizing. I want to go through the process of feralization just like a little pink pig that escapes the farm. And I believe, depending on your ethnicity and your genetic roots, you could be prone to different processes of rewilding. We can all, and it might take generations for some ethnicities, and it might be that in some ethnicities, one organism can go closer to Sasquatch. So what are the implications of this? Well, a lot. When you talk about your creator's design, the maker of your soul, and his creation, the organic template that we're restoring really does not involve human beings as we know and feel. It involves human beings reverting to Bigfoots and Sasquatches over several generations. That is real heaven on earth, because that is God's real organic template. That's the real divine plan. If you hypothetically remove devilish influences, which is impossible because we need duality and cycles of highs and lows and conflict and friction. But hypothetically, if you could just remove evil from this planet, what you would have is eventually all the dogs would go back to wolves. All the humans would go back to Sasquatches. All the pigs would go back to wild hogs. So Animal Farm is literal, and there's codes in there. You might want to reread that after listening to this episode, George Orwell's book, Animal Farm. So I'll keep this episode short and sweet for you. I don't want to put too much my own opinions about this. What are the implications? If you are, in fact, a farm animal, a designer species like Paris Hilton carries around a little dog in a bag, whoever made human beings is watching, and they don't want us to go through a process of feralization. They want us to stay domesticated, and they want us to evolve a very specific way to keep their little power structure as the cycles and the eons necessarily move forward. So we do need to grow, and they know it, but they're trying to still control it, and maybe the layers of security clearance, hidden military bases underground that go deeper and deeper and deeper underneath even the cities where pedophilia happens, under almost every city and town in the United States. Maybe there's higher oxygen there. And this is last thing I'll say. This geoengineering programs and weather control is about maintaining the oxygen low as possible. Dinosaurs are a hoax to cover up the fact that those dinosaur bones are the bones of us, the bones of the animals we know. So anything can become a giant. Anything can keep growing. Here's the trick. The plants and animals have to grow together. That's why you see these geological formations that are clearly supermassive plants that were like chopped down and raised, because they still burn the rainforest today. They still do fires in Paradise and Maui and the Amazon today. Every single national park and state-owned land still prunes the trees by chopping down the big ones today. Why? The same reason they spray the skies and block the sun out, to keep atmospheric oxygen low and carbon dioxide low. Because Plants produce oxygen, we breathe it in, give out CO2, they breathe it in, and we all become giants together. Make atmospheric oxygen great again. Another point of evidence for this is that these CIA cults and all these government cults are always talking about crystalline DNA and upgrading our evolution. And a lot of them talk about there being nitrogen in the air because nitrogen is a filler gas. It's just what occurs in all these other argon and trace other gases because they're blocking out the plant and animal life from getting the sun it needs. And they keep us indoors in these small little houses because they don't want us to grow and breathe and all become giants together. But it's inevitable. It's just a matter of time frame. I'm here to make it happen faster. Where do we see Bigfoots and Sasquatches? In high oxygen areas, mountaintops, forested areas, wooded areas. You need that level of oxygen to referalize your DNA and become who Heavenly Father truly made you to be, which is not a little human. I'm sorry, with your beauty standards and your hairlessness and your love to be dependent on external factors, none of that's it. It's time we get wild. This is the real key to eradicating the control structure we hate so much. That's all I got for today. Y'all take care. Much love.
Thanks for tuning in to The Blunt Truth with Stephen and Dougie. Enjoy the conversation. Join us every Wednesday for more unfiltered discussions. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your support keeps the truth coming. Elevate your journey. Connect with us on social media at blunttruthpodcast.com. Until next time, be kind, keep growing, and remember, knowledge is infinite.